SpaceX is revisiting its satellite internet initiative, Starlink, and it now hopes to operate some of its spacecraft at a lower altitude than originally planned. In a filing to the FCC, SpaceX is now asking the agency to modify its license so that more than 1,500 Starlink satellites can operate at an altitude of about 600 kilometers lower than the company originally requested. SpaceX argues that this change will make the space environment safer, as it will be easier to get rid of these satellites at this new altitude when they run low on fuel or can no longer function properly in orbit. This update could also explain the unexpected behavior of two of SpaceX's test satellites for Starlink, which have remained in lower orbits than expected. Back in March, the FCC approved SpaceX's license for the first phase of its ambitious Starlink initiative, the company's long-term plan to launch nearly 12,000 satellites into orbit to beam internet coverage down to Earth. Initially, SpaceX asked for permission to launch satellites into orbits higher than 1,100 kilometers, but with this new filing, SpaceX is requesting that 1,584 satellites be allowed to operate at 550 kilometers instead. SpaceX said that moving the satellites to a lower altitude means that it can do more with less. Originally, the company said it needed 1,600 satellites, but moving them lower means that the company can get to the same results with 16 fewer spacecraft. And the lower altitude makes it easy to dispose of these satellites once they're done in space. At this height, particles from Earth's atmosphere bombard the spacecraft more rapidly, pushing them out of orbit and dragging them down to the planet. And on the way down, well, they burn up in the atmosphere. Making sure these spacecraft come out of orbit in a timely manner is crucial because of the vast number of the things that SpaceX wants to put in orbit. A constellation the size of Starlink could dramatically increase the number of operational satellites in space, raising the risk of in-space collisions. A recent NASA study argued that 99% of these satellites will need to be taken out of orbit reliably within 5 years of launch, or the risk of satellite collisions goes up quite a bit. The FCC still needs to approve SpaceX's request, but the Commission has declared November Space Month, so it's possible there may be some movement on this very soon. In the meantime, SpaceX says it plans to launch its first batch of Starlink satellites sometime in 2019.